of, are you worth, are you, or are we willing to go through this process for you to join the organization, or for you to be in a situation whereby maybe you currently overpaid, or maybe this will be an under offer for you. So we want to understand, right? I always speak separate between the two. I'll understand. I'll tell my candidates, I'm like, listen, I'm representing you in the market. I need to understand what is going on in your life. That's why I'm asking, what is your current, what is your expected? If I have that understanding, even when I go to a client or to a hiring manager and actually present you, I know that there wouldn't be a lot of drawback on that, because I understand you on 10, you're looking for 14 or 15, and I know how I can back that up. I can't go to a hiring manager and say, Patrick is on 10, he wants 25,000 because he says it's good. It won't work. So that's what I'm saying. A lot of people will tie that to, I actually need 25,000 to settle bills, or I need 25,000 to handle these kind of expenses. Then you're forgetting that it just might not work out for you. So you need to be conscious, you need to be wary of the decision. And also, if you are dealing directly with an organization and they do ask you what is your salary expectation, never give a specific figure, always give a range. Once you give a specific figure, you've cemented your offer. It could have been half what they were willing to give, and they'll be happy to actually extend that to you. Always give a range. Always look at what the market is saying. That's the first thing that you check. And when you're dealing with the recruiter, never ever engage directly with the client regarding salaries. Deal with your, because at the end of the day, as recruiters, we're always trying to get the best available salary for you. So engage with us. Let us know, where are you, what are you looking for, and how best we can actually motivate for this. There are chances where you will get double your salary. There are chances where the offer might even be retracted because you're asking for too much money. So you just need to be wary when you're engaging, especially in the salary topic.
Awesome. Yes, this is a very, very sensitive issue for everybody. And I think, just to sum it up, three things stand out. All the panelists say you have to do your research. Don't go into a salary negotiation blind. Don't be emotional about it. You're not dumping. It's not the business of the prospective employer to solve all your personal and financial problems. Don't be emotional. Don't just say you deserve this, or you have these years of experience. Whatever you're doing must be backed by research. And finally, don't box yourself up into a figure. Always give a range. A range will give you a little more wiggle room. And Nigeria is adding, don't leave money on the table. How do you not leave money on the table? I'm curious. At
All
this
right.
point, how do you not
Yeah.
leave money on the table?
So, so maybe a bit of high level. So when you are a talent, right? And when I say talent, I mean a talent who have acquired experience. I've been in situations whereby I'm in an interview. I've seen the role. I've seen the salary advertised, and I still went for the interview. And while I was there, based on the value that I was able to deliver during the interview, they themselves knew that the amount of money that they had, posted was not right for what I was coming for. And I was able to negotiate more, because considering your level of experience and the responses you're giving to them, the way they know. So the truth is, some of these organizations or recruiter, in fact, I've had situations whereby a recruiter was the one that asked me, you know what, I am going to speak to the client on your behalf because this amount that we advertise would not work for you. I have had that opportunity. I could say maybe I was lucky, but when I say don't leave money on the table, you read the room. When you know that, yes, based on your research, based on, so just as Pabilelo mentioned, when you put a range, so for example, the role that are looking for is maybe 1 million, and the industry is between 1 million and 1.5. Now you've accepted their invite. We invited you, you're in there, you've explained and talked about, and they ask you, oh, our offer is 1 million. You have the right, you have what it takes to tell them, like, you know what, I wouldn't take. Sometimes you could also do, when they've sent you the offer, you can send a counter offer.
Lamp
It's
upstairs.
very important. So when you send a counter, you tell them, based on industry research, you believe that based on your experience and what you are able to offer to them, you believe that what your salary should be between 1.2 or 1.5. When you send a counter offer to them, they look back, they reason and say, okay, you know what, this guy has what it takes. And then they offer you. It has happened to me one or twice. So what I mean is when you see that opportunity and you know that you're going to offer value, you've done your research, and what your company is offering at the beginning stage is, for example, 1 million. When they send you the offer, right? They know that you're good. They've decided to employ you. When they send you the offer, you have the right to send a counter offer. It's either they accept it or no. It's not as if maybe they'll take the opportunity away from you. I've done it twice,
All right.
and it has happened. Yes. So you have the right to send a counter offer, send it to them. They say, okay, yes, we can do this. We'll add XYZ percentage to it. That's you taking the opportunity that is there, rather than you just accepting what they've offered to you in a point blank. So once in a while,
Okay.
when you are doing interview, you observe that there's an opportunity there. You can send a counter offer, and then until things happen.
Okay. I knew that this salary issue would be here for a while. So let's have you, Vivian.
So
Go ahead.
just basically it's just to add to
Take a final perspective
not
from
to add,
Vivian.
but to buttress what Anjorin said. When he mentioned that we should not limit our compensation negotiation only to salaries, you should also remember to speak about the entire total package, the entire totalness of the compensation and the benefits. I consulted for an organization where there was a whole lot of attrition, employees were disgruntled, when we run a compensation and benefits benchmarking project for them, the company was open to say, I mean, with what's going on in the market, we cannot increase salaries. So what else can we do? We have to come up with different creative ways to make the employees feel appreciated and make them see that there's a whole lot of bonuses and benefits here. So there was, they had a partnership with shuttlers where they took care of employee transportation. They introduced flexible work hours. And that one thing alone showed, attrition just reduced. That one, imagine working in Lagos 5 days a week and all of a sudden you're only coming to the office once or twice. That was magical. So when you're negotiating your compensation, remember to keep the entire total package in mind.
Awesome. All right, so let's not dwell too much on salary. There's more to it than just salary. So we have to move on from salary at this point. Okay, so let's look at the interview process itself. All right. To many people from the outside, the interview process is a big mystery, right? People don't know candidates don't know how decisions are made. So let's put this hypothetical situation where you have two candidates with identical experience on paper, right? What is that specific X factor that makes you pick candidate A over candidate B in the interview? I think this will be really helpful to everyone on the call. Just before I call on any panelists to answer that, we've maxed out our capacity here on Google Meet. So please, anyone else who's trying to join will have to go to the overflow on YouTube Live. All right, Modupe, we'll start with you. From your own experience as a recruiter, what is that X factor that differentiates candidate A from candidate B that is important in making that decisive decision or recommendation to go with candidate A over candidate B? What do you look out for from a recruiter's perspective? One single factor.
Cultural fit. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you. So one single factor, and I'll say this from a scenario standpoint, right? You have two people who their CVs look very they stand out and they have all of the required skills, experience that the client is looking out for, right? But one key thing that helps one person, one of the candidates to scale through and then land the job is confidence. Confidently communicating that value you say you've earned over the years, right? And the experiences you've gathered. We've had situations where people who are qualified or have had that years of experience, have done the groundwork, cannot or do not know how best to communicate these values they've added to other organizations during interviews. And once you're not able to do that, you're not able to convince the client or the hiring organization that I can do the job. It will basically seem like the person just used AI to do their CV and they do not have that experience they claim to have. So that's one very key thing that basically stands out.
Awesome. That's an interesting perspective. Communication, ability to communicate. Pabalelo, you want to add to that?
Thanks, Patrick. I actually liked what she said, and I think just to add on top of that, what I would say is the X factor here would be contextual intelligence. This is how well a candidate would understand the business, right? So let's say
Yeah.
given there's these two identical profiles or CVs that have made it through first round, second round, whatever. We're at final stages now, and we need to choose one, right? So when the two CVs are identical, what I would look at is the person's understanding of the businesses or the organization's challenges. Does this person speak commercially rather than theoretically? And does the person connect their experience directly to the role? Right? Let's say, given an example, we've got two HR business partners applying for the same role. One talks about policies and frameworks. The other says, in a fast-growing African organization, the challenge isn't policy; it's the line manager's capability. And here's how I've handled it in the past. You understand? That person is applying knowledge. So I think that person would stand out because they are identical on paper. But now the thinking, the how you handle a situation, that's what we want to see. So I always say this: the best candidate doesn't answer questions; they solve problems in real time. That's how we'll be able to distinguish between the two candidates.
Awesome. Awesome. If I don't take anything, I'll take that. I'll take that, and we should quote it and put it on the plaque or something. The best candidate doesn't answer questions, they solve problems. And you must be able to demonstrate your ability to solve problems, not just speaking theories. And Jeremy, over to you. We'll take your
Yeah,
own
thank you very
perspective.
much. Yeah, I think Pablo, that was spot on. But one thing I'm going to add to it is, I know I had someone say, "Oh, cultural fit." For me, I think what would differentiate between the two candidates is what we call cultural add. Now, and there's a difference between the two. So cultural fit means you blend in, right? Or in terms of, oh, you are okay, you feel that you blend in well in this place. But when we say cultural add, right, it means you're bringing something new, something that the company doesn't have, and which is what Pablo was saying. You're thinking critically, you're curious, you demonstrate initiative on the spot, and also your communication style. So it's a combination of different skill sets that you would have that would make one candidate stand out. So companies are looking for cultural add. When you say cultural fit, it means that you are just inside, you're not changing anything. What has been there before, you're just trying to fit in. But companies are looking for someone that can add to what they already have. And that's where the value is. When doing the interview, once I see someone who can add much more value to what is already existing, then I will go with that person. And that's what I want to add. So let's have it in mind. Think of adding value, cultural add to the organization, and you'll stand out.
That's awesome. So we have three major takeaways. Modupe says, look, the single differentiating factor is your ability to communicate. You both may have the same competency set on paper, but one person may be better able to communicate the value add they bring to the table. Pabalelo takes it a step further. He says, look, you must be able to solve problems and show that you can solve problems. You bring real value to the table, not just theories. And Andrea says it's not just culture fit, culture add. And I can relate to that. There's one time I was supporting a business in hiring for a role internally, and two candidates presented themselves. And the MD said one thing about each of them. He said one candidate A was good for where the organization is at the moment. I said candidate B is suitable for where the organization is heading to. And that just speaks a bit to what Anjorin was talking about. Viv, do you want to share your perspective on this before we move on to the next question?
Yeah, thank you very much. So I think, all the panelists have really, spot on. They've really highlighted a whole lot of things. But what I would just add is that if I have two candidates who have, on paper, they have, the same seemingly set of qualifications, what I would be looking out for is someone who is who has that growth mindset. So it's basically speaking to what everyone has said. You have a growth mindset. You're coming with everything that you have to push further to gain more, right? And then there's that coachability to say that you're open to learning, you're flexible, you're not rigid in your approach, you're open to bringing in new ideas, new initiatives. That's one thing that would be differentiating one candidate from the other.
Okay, yeah, before you go, I'll just push this one to you so that we can move quick. We need to pick up the pace. And we've heard a lot about rejection depression, right? You've sent out, candidates have sent out CVs. In fact, some candidates are so depressed, they send out CVs, they're never called for interviews. Some candidates, they complain, oh, they've gone for interviews upon interviews upon interviews, and they never get the offer. All right. I guess many people can relate to this rejection depression, right? And it's a big deal today. So, you know, as a recruiter, I'm sure you see this more often than anyone else. All right. How would you say a candidate can turn rejection to a future opportunity? And how would you encourage people to deal with rejection depression?
That's a very, very good one. When I was, I mean, before I became a recruiter, I used to wonder why sometimes I wouldn't even get a mail. There's no closure. So you're hanging in there like, what is happening? So I totally understand what this rejection emails, I mean, how it feels. And what I would like to say is rejection, a no is not an ultimately shut door, right? It could be, for example, we just talked about two candidates who have the same qualifications, but one has to get chosen, right? So it could be for so many reasons why you were not picked at the time. No, it could not necessarily no. It doesn't mean that it's forever, the door is shut. It could just be not right now. We don't have the money to, give you the right compensation package. We're keeping you in view. It could be different reasons. So what job seekers should understand is, regardless of the rejection email that comes, first thing is to try as much as possible to get the feedback. If you get that email saying we're not moving forward with you now for whatever reason, connect with the recruiter and say, can you give me specific feedback so I can improve? And if you are giving that feedback, by all means, when you take a course in that specific feedback that was given, or you've done some kind of improvements, please send a further email to say, oh, I've taken your feedback into consideration and I've been able to do 1, 2, 3 to upskill and upgrade my skills, and I'll be looking forward to having further engagement with you again for this role or for any other role that you prepared yourself for. That is something you can do to keep the connection. Connect with them on LinkedIn or other social media platforms, engage basically, and let them know that I appreciate your feedback and I'm going to use it to make myself better, and keep in touch, because the rejection is not necessarily because you're not a fit. It could just be that maybe you lack a particular skill, or like I said, maybe it's not the right time to have you in the system. So if you really value that organization and you really want to work there, and by all means keep in touch with the recruiter, take their feedback, let them know you've done so far with the feedback they've shared with you. And if you have feedback, then please share as well. I think that's one way to look at it.
Awesome. I mean, those are very insightful positions. Just to add a little humorous touch to it before we take Anjorine's position. Yeah, just to add some humor. From what you've said, we should keep in touch with recruiters. So, Pabalelo, Anjorine, Modupe, get ready to be cyber stalked, right? Candidates are going to be following you everywhere. We're following you, we're keeping in touch, we're just keeping the conversation warm, okay? Just be prepared for that, all right? And then just another angle to it. Sometimes when these rejection messages come, right, they are automated responses, no reply. You get those messages, no reply. Unfortunately, we've moved on with another candidate. Maybe Anjorine, you could factor that in your own response. Sometimes candidates are not even able to keep the communication lines open because those rejection mails are sent, no reply from. I don't know if anyone else understands. If you witnessed it, go ahead. Over to you, Anjorine.
Yeah, thank you very much. So it's a very critical situation, right? And I'm going to start my response with that. Employers, recruiters, we need to do better. Coming into 2026, when we're having our strategy team meeting. One of the things that we had planned to do better is to ensure that if we really want to help this talent grow from point A to point C, we need to ensure that there is constant feedback. When a candidate applies for a role, there should be feedbacks. And of course, I also would say that I think, based on my experience also, when I apply for jobs opportunities outside Nigeria or to some multinational standard organization, I get feedback. In fact, some go as far as say, "Oh, Anjorin, we are sorry, we like your skills," make you feel better, and even giving some pointers to say, "Oh, these are the things you think you should improve on, in your CV to give you a better edge on opportunity next time." We get that. I get that from some, very standard organization, but I think we need to do more. And I'm just saying this to, Nigeria organization. And I think a lot of approach needs to be put into it, a lot of effort. And I think it's something that would improve. We will see improvement in 2026. So going to the rejection, the truth is, no today doesn't mean never, right? And the truth is, rejection is not failure, it's redirection. That's the way I say it. Every time that I get the rejection email, it propels me to apply for like 3 more, 4, 5, 6, 7 jobs more. At least I know that when I was still growing up, when I applied for like 5 or 6, at least I know I'll get like 1 or 2 feedbacks. That was the way I used to, analyze mine. So the truth is, some organizations really do sincerely have some constraints, for not getting back to you. I've had a situation whereby I had done an interview with an organization in the development sector. I won't mention name. I'd done about 5 stages of interview. It was that amazing. 5 stages of interview. I'd met with the director. They had requested for all my documents, and the HR was supposed to send me an offer on Monday. We finalized the whole interview on a Friday. And then Monday came, the HR just ghosted me. I called and called and called. It doesn't pick my call, sent messages, no responses. 2 weeks after, I got a new line and I called. "Hello, oh God, this is Babajide Anjorin. What happened?" "Oh, I'm sorry, blah, 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 blah." Give me an excuse. 2 years later, I was at the CIPM conference. I see the same person coming to my board. I'm like, "Are you not so person? What happened? Why did you ghost me?" Oh, another director came in who was on leave during the interview process and came, and a senior director, and says, "Oh, he has his own candidate." And that was why they didn't give me the offer. So the truth is, there are politics, there are budget constraints, timing at times might not be right. But the truth is, even though they say, "Oh, it is not, there's a rejection email," it doesn't mean that's the end of it. Right?
Correct.
It just shows that
Right.
oh, this is not the time. Another opportunity will come. And I want to encourage, if you have been there, you've experienced it, I've been there as well, just keep at it. If it doesn't come, apply for another one. And the right one, when the right opportunity comes, you realize it will come in effortlessly. And then you'll be happy doing what you need to do. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. I like
Yeah.
what Babajide said. He said a no is not a never, right? So take it on the chin and move. We move, as we say in Nigeria, we move. All right. I'll relate this to a question somebody or a comment Kafayat puts in the chat, where she's a fresh graduate with just 1 year NYSC experience, certified. She's putting herself out there, and this relates to the question I want to ask, right? Because there's an experience paradox, and I'm happy we have recruiters on the call to put this question to perspective. Okay, you have a fresh graduate, applying for an entry-level job, but the entry-level job requires 2 years of experience. Okay, so for a fresh graduate like Kafayat on the call, who put herself out there, what are the practical hacks to break in? Okay, obviously she is trying to break into HR. Okay, but most entry-level roles, they put in their 1 or 2 years experience, but these candidates, they don't have this experience. So there's a paradox where you have entry-level roles with experience requirements. How do fresh graduates break into the market, so to speak? And I think for all the fresh graduates on the call, this would address your concerns.
Okay, let me quickly
Okay, you go
drop
ahead. Yeah.
pointer, then everybody takes it up. So oftentimes when I go for career counseling, this is what I tell fresh graduates. First and foremost, you need clarity. What exactly do you want to do? What exactly do you want to do in terms of your career path, your career journey? I see a lot of graduates today that just wake up one morning and say, oh, this is what I want to do. I want to do data analytics. I want to do this. I want to do that. Or, you need clarity. Once you have that clarity, then that's the first step. So if you say, oh, you want to be an HR, just as the lady that has asked the question, yes, you find a lot of roles that say, oh, 3 years experience, 3 years experience. Yes, the reality is you don't have that experience. Two things I advise: apply for graduate training roles. There were a lot of them that come in to almost every now and then. A lot of organizations want to build a pipeline, either for their sales, their marketing role, their customer service, operation. There are a lot of graduate training opportunities out there. In fact, on our platform, we put them out there almost regularly. You can check. So graduate training is one very key important opportunity you can take advantage of, right? Be open to research, check on LinkedIn, look at it there, and then ensure that you take advantage of graduate training. For graduate training, no experience is required. They'll just tell you, oh, you must be a graduate and what have you, and then you apply. When you apply, you go through the assessment, and once you get shortlisted, you grow within the company. They put you on monitoring and evaluation for like 6 months, 3 months. You walk around various departments so that you're able to then build your strengths. Say, okay, you know what? This is the area I want to focus on. And based on your performance, they put you there and then you grow. Now, the second point is I tell people internship. For you to acquire experience, to be able to apply for these roles, get internship. So, for example, if you want to go into HR, you have that clarity that human resources is what you want to do. Search within your sphere of influence, within your church, whether it's your mosques, whether communities that you have, look for HR professionals, or go on LinkedIn, right? Look for HR professionals within your system. Tell them, oh, you are so and so, you're a graduate, you're smart, you want to study HR, you are clear, you have clarity, and this is what you want to do. You don't mind, you like to intern in your organization. For intern, they could just, some companies would, as much as possible, pay you maybe transportation allowance or a little, just to keep body and soul together. The truth is, when you ask 5, 6, 7 people, you will get 1, 2 persons that will give you a listening and say, okay, you know what, let me go in, let me speak to 1 or 2 people, and you get opportunity. I've seen it happen several times. You go on LinkedIn as well, search for HR in whatever industry or sector that you want, send them an email. When you send to 10, be rest assured 1 or 2 will respond to you. The truth is, it doesn't cost them anything. You are interning, they teach you the ropes, you learn, and you did for like 6 months, 1 year. While you're on the job, you then start applying. You have acquired the experience that you need, and then you begin to build it from there. And at the same time, start also doing some professional exams. Sign up for the CIPM. There are a lot of HR courses online to then, give you that edge. Even within, you can be surprised. You might be surprised that within the organization where you're interning, when they see how relevant you are, offering so much value, plus the skills you're acquiring, they could permanent you and then promote you. So those are some of the advice I give, and I feel, when we take that up, things will change. Thank you.
All right, we'll soon be wrapping up. Modupe will take your perspective, then we'll go to the final set of rapid fire questions before we wrap it up. Right, Modupe, over to you.
All right. I just wanted to add to what Anjori said. He gave really great points, and I wanted to talk from my personal experience. Right, when I wanted to start out my career, I basically did not have any work experience, right, apart from volunteering in the university. Right, part of what I did was to volunteer. So yes, networking is good. Yes, get internship opportunities. Reach out to people. Pending the time they respond to you, right? Talk to somebody in your church, your mosque, anywhere, your community, right? And volunteer. That was how I started my career. I started volunteering, and then I got an internship opportunity. And from there, I started out my career. So do not just sit down. While we're all professionals, yes, and we all started our career at some point. So start from somewhere. Get on projects. I have a friend who is currently a front desk personnel, right, with an energy company. She's really interested in UI UX. she started to volunteer on projects. She has a portfolio. So is it tech you're interested in? Start volunteering. Take courses that you need to take first. Go do the learnings, right? And then start volunteering. Don't just sit down. Her portfolio is full, and she just recently landed her first full-time UI/UX job, and she's still freelancing on the side. She's making her money now. So do not just sit down and say, oh, I don't know where to start. Volunteer, but of course, through your community, and then network. Basically, I just wanted to add that.
Awesome. Okay, so let's move. We're past the hour, so we just have to wrap up. I mean, it's been wonderful, but we'll just take some rapid fire questions. Kabalelo, I'll start with you. You receive resumes a lot, all right? So what's the one thing on a resume that makes you instantly delete it?
Thanks, Patrick, for that. I think because the level that I actually recruit at, I recruit more of your senior to executive level opportunities across SSA. So the thing that would shoot for me would be typos and vague job descriptions, you know, because right now we can actually tell when something is straight from ChatGPT, right? So I would say typos and vague job descriptions.
All right. So for everybody using ChatGPT to prepare their CV, you just heard it. Typos and vague job descriptions. Awesome.
Don't get me wrong. Sorry about it. Don't get me wrong. ChatGPT could be used as a very, very strong tool, but you shouldn't let it actually run your life. You should use it as to provide you the structure, and at least in terms of a flow. You can ask ChatGPT, please kindly assist in terms of drafting a structure for a civil engineering CV. You know, something like that. You don't tell it to type all the duties for you and send that to us. We can pick it
up. All right, very useful to everyone. They can pick it up if you rely solely on ChatGPT. Vivian, what's the number one CV deal breaker for you?
Okay, so in addition to what Fabiola has said, for me it would be the flow, the look and feel and the flow. I mean, if I'm going through a CV and it's not exactly flowing really nicely, the job, should I say, the experiences are not properly arranged, and things are not aligned properly. I mean, that puts you off, because you're really scanning through, and then all of that just puts you off. You're not going to be able to assimilate what you're reading. So in addition to what Fabiola has said, I'll say the look and feel and the flow of the CV.
Okay, awesome. All right, let me move to another question. Anjorin, I'll go to you. What's your take on LinkedIn? Do you think it's essential or is overrated?
LinkedIn is very much essential. Very, very much essential. I mean,
you think in 2026 is still going to remain as essential as it is?
Yes, it will, for the white collar jobs. It will, absolutely. It will still continue to be relevant. I know Vivian would agree with me, or Modubo Lua. A lot of recruiters to go to LinkedIn to get a lot of opportunities. Like when I got the job with MoneyPoint, the HR reached out to me via LinkedIn. Another role I did, in fact, my current role in Jobberman was, they reached out to me via LinkedIn. So for me, LinkedIn works, right? But of course, you need to then know how to position yourself on LinkedIn.
Right.
As I said,
okay.
So you need to learn how to position yourself. So you don't have to just waste too much time. LinkedIn still works, and it's still going to be very relevant even in the nearest future for the white collar jobs. Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. Yeah. Modupe, what's your take on LinkedIn? Is it essential or overrated?
LinkedIn is very essential. If I can't find you on LinkedIn, I don't know, you don't exist. It's very essential, honestly.
Okay, so LinkedIn is still very much essential. Oh, we seem to have lost Pabalelo. Okay, Pabalelo is back. All right. Pabalelo.
Sorry about that.
LinkedIn. Yeah. So yeah, LinkedIn, overrated or still essential?
I say LinkedIn is essential when used intentionally. I think that system is still going to be around for a very long time. I think I'm a very good example of that. I'm based in South Africa, and Patrick, initially when we engaged, it was through LinkedIn. We met on LinkedIn about a year ago. So I think it's a very, very important tool, especially in Africa. It allows us to bridge the gap, the invisible bridge. It's basically the invisible bridge. So it's very, very essential when used intentionally. I just also would like to say, especially to the candidates and the people that are in the market out there, their presence on LinkedIn is very important. Sometimes we post memes and we forget that we look at that, we look at that. So the professional profile picture, cover background, how your intro looks, the actual experience you have, that needs to be clearly stipulated there. So it's a very, very important tool. I recruit into Africa, and that's my main tool of operation.
I keep saying this on several platforms. Your social media is also part of your resume. So I've said this before. So if you're someone who all you do on social media is twerk and dance and stuff, just know that, just like Pabalelo said, they're watching. They're going to see all of that. All right. AI applications. I know Pabalelo has mentioned something around this, but Vivian, what's your take? Should candidates use ChatGPT to write their cover letters? Yes or no? ChatGPT, AI.
Absolutely. You should use anything that would help you to enhance your work. You should use that to make yourself better. But I think it was Pabalelo that said, don't just use ChatGPT and then you go sit down. You should own it, right? When you're using any kind of support to AI, especially, you should own it. It's supporting your own intellect. So when you use ChatGPT, don't copy and paste. Use it to enhance, what you already have. That's my take on it. But you should absolutely use it.
All right. Pabalelo, your hand is raised.
All right, Patrick, also just wanted to add on that. Won't take long. ChatGPT is a very important tool, guys. It's a very, very important tool. You just have to use it responsibly. I've came across profiles whereby people just like generate a CV for finance manager. All those things that are written there, the person couldn't answer when asked about. They basically just take a job description, say ChatGPT, please align my profile to this. So they need to just be careful how they use it. That's why I said, don't let it run your life. Let it support you. You should use it as a support function, not it detecting your entire profile or who you are. Even in terms of school, there are people that use ChatGPT to answer the whole question. Just be careful on how you use it. And now with the new ATS systems that we're employing, it picks that up and it completely throws the CV to the trash. So it might not even reach me because of how AI populated it is. There's a specific threshold some ATS systems allow through, and they cover out the rest. So it's very important that just be careful how you use it. Or paraphrase. AI could give you a whole paragraph, rewrite it in your own words. That would assist. Paraphrase.
Awesome. Well,
Sorry,
so
Patrick, just to add, right? We need to understand the prompting of AI. You need to give it the right prompt to give you exactly what you need, and then you rephrase and align into what you want. So prompt, and also there's a lot of job opportunities as prompt engineers. So these are skills that we also need to go and acquire and learn. Use it for yourself, and a lot of organization also are in need of it. Thank you.
yeah, Glory, I love Glory's comment. She said ChatGPT should complement what we do, right? Not override our sense of reasoning as human beings. All right. Ali says AI is AI, an AI tool is a collaborator you can bounce ideas off, not lead the entire work for. All right. So we're wrapping up now. Final question, in 10 seconds or less. I'll start with Vivian. What's your final word, if you would say your sentence of advice for 2026 to every job seeker out there that's trying to get hired? What's your final word of advice for everyone?
All right. Thank you so much, Patrick. So in a nutshell, final word of advice would be look beyond what you can do and look into what solutions can you bring to the table for this potential employer that you're looking at. What solutions can you offer? And that's when you're speaking from that point of view, you'll be able to, picture the value that you're bringing to the table and be able to, price yourself. All of that will now fall into place, compensation, conversations, and negotiation, and all of that. So just always remember to be driving value and solution. That's it.
Awesome. Modupe, what's your final word of advice in one sentence if you could give it?
Okay. Basically to job seekers this year, please do well to read the job description before you apply for a job. It's very important. And do not make AI the final voice of whatever you're working on or sending as CVs, right? Yes, use it for structure, but do not make it the final voice. Like Pabalelo said, restructure it, paraphrase it. Basically, that's the word. Paraphrase it and let it look and sound like who you are and the experiences you've acquired. And please stop sending us your marriage certificates as CVs. Do well to check what you're sending or attaching as your CV. Yes. Thank
All
you.
right. As part of your credentials or certification.
Exactly.
Yes, so marriage is not a professional certification. Noted. Interesting. And Jorin, what's your own final word of advice?
Okay, thank you very much, Patrick. My final word would be stop waiting for the perfect conditions. Start building your value today. There's never a perfect time. The market is tough, and yes, as tough as it is, every single day on our platforms, within our system, someone like you or any one of us on this call today is getting hired. Someone is negotiating a better salary. Someone is transitioning from one career to another career successfully. Now, why is that? They don't have two heads. The difference is they stopped waiting for what? For permission. And they started demonstrating their value. They started what? Learning the skills. Some people create portfolios, they build network, relentless learning. The Jobberman, we have the soft skills training on our platform for free. You're a fresh graduate, you're here, even though you're an experienced graduate, you want to learn soft skills, communication, time management, the opportunities are there. There are a lot of platforms for you to build skills. So I will say it again, do not wait for anybody. Do not wait for that right time. Just start acquiring skills, have an open mind, explore all the various opportunities that are there. The LinkedIn is there, the job platforms are there, but ensure that you're acquiring the right skills, right? And then you're adding value. Whenever you have an opportunity to get an interview, ensure that you sell yourself based on realities in terms of the things that you have done in relation to what to the organization. And I wish every one of us the best. Do not just take today's learning, don't take today's learning as just a webinar that you just came in, because there's a thin line between being remorseful and repentance. I want us to be repentant, right? And then take the action. You've taken down notes, but by tomorrow or Monday, start doing those things immediately. That is how you improve and get the what you do. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anjorin. Pabalelo.
Thanks, Patrick. I think on my side, I'll keep it nice and short. I would say own your story, build real skills, and stay visible. Very, very important in 2026.
All right. Thank you, Vivian, Anjorin, Pabalelo, Modupe. I think it's been I don't think it's been a wonderful interaction. Even I have some takeaways from this interaction. I've learned quite a few things I'm going to put into practice myself. Thank you, everyone. Everyone that's made the time to join the live session here or to join the session on YouTube. I'm saying hello to my YouTube family, Geraldine, Geraldo. Thank you for joining the call. All right, on this note, I think we can draw the curtains. This is the first of our career conversations with Patrick for the year. There will be more sessions. Thank you all. Do enjoy the rest of your day.
All right,
Thank you so
bye,
much,
Patrick.
Patrick.
Thank you, Patrick. Thanks for having me. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Bye, everyone.
Thank you very
Thank you for
much.
having me. Bye, everyone.
Thank
Thank you to
you.
everyone for joining. Bye, everyone.
Bye.